Alright guys, today we're out in the garden, and what we're going to do is I'm going to explain more about single stemming method. If you look here to this is that sweetie that I planted last week. As you can see, it's loving the weather, it's loving the nutrients we've given it. It's very, very happy right now. So what we've got to do is, and I've already done it once, I've already tied it up here because we had a bunch of heavy winds last week, and I was afraid it was going to shift these around so much that it was going to hurt them. So I went ahead and tied it once, but today we're going to go back and I'm going to show you what a sucker actually is for an example, and also show you what we do to do single stemming method, you know, how we're going to tie it up, how much looseness you should find with the little elastic. If you watch my video that just came out this morning, this is the elastic we're talking about. And actually in that previous video, and I'll put another link to it here, I gave an Amazon link for this here. I think I actually found it cheaper than last time. This is only like $9 for a roll like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer, and that way you can get a real good shot about the suckers and exactly how we're going to tie this up. Alright guys, so this right here, this little bitty limb is a sucker. If you notice, you have your main stem and you have a leaf node, which is all of this, so it's a leaf. But you also have another leaf that is trying to grow out of this little crook here. Now there's two ways that you can take these out. You can take a little pair of small pruning scissors and come in here and give it a little clip, right? Or if you want to go old school, you just reach in with your two little fingers here, grab it on both sides, and just kind of pull it to you, and it'll pull it off. 99% of the time, I go hands-on because it's just so much easier, and you know, I've got my fingers with me all the time. I don't always have a pair of scissors. So we're going to come back out a little bit, and I'm going to show you about how we're going to tie these up. Now, as you notice, this stem is probably, I don't know, probably 3/8 to 1/2 inch in diameter here. So what we're going to do is, off of this roll, we're going to cut roughly 5 or 6 inches of this off. And a good sharp pair of scissors does well with this. And we are going to center our plant, come around, and just tie it in a double overhand knot. Nothing special. And as we tighten it up, we want to get it to where it's tight, but we do not want to strangle our plant. Now, once we do our double overhand knot, we're going to check it and make sure that we've got enough flex here. So what we can do is we can just grab the plant and kind of pull it away, and you see it pulls away pretty easily. Now, if you find that this is too tight, what you can do is come to the back where your knot is and grab each side and kind of pull it a little bit, and that'll give you a little bit more to where it's not so tight. And like I said, we're going to do this about every 6 inches as this thing grows up. Now, with these plants, you've got to kind of be careful, because we don't want to mistake our main leaf node for a sucker. Because as this is growing up, it's going to kind of weave back and forth, and we want to look at which one is going to be our main stem and which one is not. Now, there is one deciding factor that's going to give us a very good indication which one is our stem. Our main stem is always going to be where the fruit is going to come from. So as you notice here, I have this, which the way it's sitting could look like our main stem, but I know that it's a sucker because our fruit always comes off of our main stem. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy out. Oops, well, we got a little bit more than we bargained for there. And we can know that this is my main stem. And since this guy is kind of trying to take a left turn here, I'm going to go ahead and tie that up again to make sure that that we don't have a plant that's going to be leaning over really far one way or the other, because we want it to go straight up this piece of wood stick that we've got in the ground. So now we're good. And as you notice here too, we've got plenty coming off. I mean, you've got two long flower buds here, and we actually have another sucker that is actually coming out of this leaf node here. So we're going to go ahead and pull that guy off and get that out of the way. Now there's one other thing that we need to watch out for when we're single stemming, and actually this applies to any method that you go through with tomatoes. If you have leaves that are resting on the ground, if these have grown out enough to where they're laying on the ground, we need to pull those off. Because what will happen is there's bacteria in the ground, and it really likes tomato plants. So leaves or limbs that are on the ground itself will get infected with bacteria, and that can start spreading up. So we want to make sure that anything that's laying on the ground, that we trim that off and get that away. And traditionally with single stemming method, you actually want to trim all your leaves up to your first set of fruit, because we want to concentrate all of our energy into our fruit and into our main stem, and not necessarily down here to leaves that are serving no purpose. You want the leaves over the top of your fruit, because a little bit of shading for your fruit actually helps. It'll help it to keep it from ripening too fast, from sun scald, and various other things. But anything below it is not serving any purpose really, other than, you know, gathering sunlight. But you should have enough leaves above that first set of fruits to sustain the plant. So these are unnecessary. What I'm going to do is we're going to move down a little bit further, and I'm going to show you what I mean about leaves laying on the ground and why we should get rid of those. All right guys, so right here we have another tomato plant that is in the same row here. But as you can see, this leaf, this limb right here, is laying on the ground. It's actually gone underground a little bit because I watered this morning, and the water kind of set it down and pulled it down, and is making it stay down on the ground. Like I said, this invites bacteria and even some certain pests. So we want to come in and we want to snip that off flush with our main stem. And I'm going to go ahead, and I see a couple of suckers here that I'm going to go and get rid of while we're sitting here. And I'm going to finish tying these up off camera. But if you can see here, if you look at the back, we've already had something that's been trying to attack these leaves. You can see the discolorations and actually the inconsistencies in the leaf. I mean, this is a healthy leaf here, but even still, you can see some of the little round circle parts like that. That's the bacteria that's starting to take hold of it. So it's good that we got that off, because now our plant can grow and we don't have to worry about that bacteria infecting our tomato. Two, guys, we're going to go down a little bit further to our determinants. Now, we're not going to trim those, but we are going to tie them up. So let's walk down that way to where the determinants are. These last three plants here are Roma tomatoes. Now, they are the determinate variety, and I simply have these stakes here for support. I'm not going to single stem these, because with if you saw my last video, and I'll have a link to it right up here, determinants are, they grow and they set all their fruit at one time. So as far as suckers, we want to leave our suckers because we want our tree to grow as big as it can in the time that it's going to grow. So we're not going to pull our suckers. On this one here, what I am going to do is, we have a leaf that was there on the ground. But other than that, we're just going to tie this guy up. And like I said, it's not because we're single stemming these, but just simply because we want to give it some support and make sure that we're not going to have it blow over or crack or anything like that with the high winds we've been getting here lately with our springtime. But we're just going to tie it tight enough that we're giving it a little support for it to not go over. And again, these are we're going to leave all the suckers on these because we want these things to have as much growth and as much surface area as we can get, because these guys are probably only going to get about 3 or 4 foot tall. And if we start picking leaves and start picking suckers off of them, we're going to inhibit the amount of fruit that it can get. So again, this is determinate varieties. So guys, just like what I did with these tomatoes, God is our vine dresser. And he comes through and he prunes us and he removes things that are not good for us. And he takes away those things that are not necessary. And he prunes us up so that we can grow and be more fruitful and more productive. So guys, in your life, if you feel something that's being taken away from you and you're sad about it, if you're following God, it's being done for a reason. That is being removed from you because it is not profitable for you. It's not good for your production. It's hindering you. You know, just like these suckers. It may look like a good thing. It may look like it's going to produce more fruit, but it's going to hinder the main stem. It's going to hinder the growth of the plant. So, whenever God is doing that pruning in your life, be grateful that he's doing that pruning. Try and find out why he's pruning that. And just work with what God is trying to do to you and stop trying to work against it. So guys, I just want to leave y'all with a final message of praying over your garden, pray over your family, and have a great day.